looks like we're not gonna reach 1 million miles on the engine after all. Hey everybody, Zoom360 here on the go, and today it's gonna be about my 2001 Lexus IS300, my beloved Lexus IS300, and why I'm choosing not to get the 2JZ GTE upgraded or the turbo upgraded version of the one I currently have in the car. I currently have the 2JZ GE and it's currently dying. And looks like we're not gonna reach 1 million miles on the engine after all. About 6 months ago, actually about more like 7 months ago, I took the car to a shop and they did a compression test on it, and cylinder 2 is at half compression and 6 is starting to go. So I'm choosing to replace the engine with the same one, the OEM. And there's a lot of things wrong with the car. So I thought today to do a video about what's wrong with my IS300 and what needs to get done in order for it to be road trip worthy, as I would deem it to be. Yeah, come and take a walk with me. Whew. It is still triple digit hot here in El Paso. It's been like that for about going on 4 weeks now. Pretty much the entire month of July. The entire month of July has been pretty crazy with the temperatures. So I know that there are some dust, some grains of sand behind the lens of this camera, and it's crazy. As I looked up how to get rid of it, those are things that I kind of don't want to do, so I have to figure out a way to get rid of them. And there she is, tucked away for the weekend, sort of. Woo! Man, it is fairly toasty in the IS. So the sun is about to set, so it's not as hot as it once was earlier in the day. So this is my IS300. I love this thing. I've had this thing. This was I think my 22nd birthday gift, I think, when I was turning 22 or 21, I think, from my parents. They made this car possible for me to have. Thanks mom, thanks dad, you guys rock. And but it's been some 20 odd years that this car has been with me, and I kind of want to have it until the day I die, actually. I remember the first time I saw this car, I think I was like 18 years old. I was in the library, and then they had this magazine, and the title of the magazine said Baby Lexus, and there was a picture of this car but from the back, and I was like, I want this thing, and today I have one. That is so cool. But anyway, my car is in pretty bad shape. It's going to take a back seat in the channel. I'm gonna start to use Lucille more, like just like when Lucille was gone for about 6 months with her engine issues, and then now it's her turn to take the lead while Suki goes through her version 5, which hopefully will be the last version of this car. I'm going to add a lot more stuff to it, redo a lot of stuff to it, and hopefully that will be the last thing that we do. Of course, with this being a project car, you know, project cars are never over. Like, you know, project cars are never finished, as they say. But version 5 hopefully will be the last major transformation that this car will be going through, because I'm supposed to be there should be 2 more cars that will be coming soon to this channel, and I'm not gonna have the time to deal with this car in terms of, like, you know, redoing it over. So hopefully this will be the last version 5. So there's a lot of things that are wrong with this car, as I said before, so I'll go through them and then explain at the end why I'm choosing, though I said that I would, but it doesn't make any sense because of a lot of things why I should get rid of the 2JZ GE and replace it with a 2JZ GTE. I know that sounds crazy because, you know, 2JZ GTE, that is the engine. Everybody tells me that. But for this car, I just can't do it. It doesn't make any sense to me, and I will go over why that is, I guess, shortly. So the first thing that I'm gonna talk about is the car's driver's side door. So I live in El Paso, and what happens in El Paso is that a lot of time we get very, very windy days. And one time I was parking and I opened my door, but I just opened it freely. I didn't grab the handle, so the wind grabbed the door and yanked it open, like you know, pulled on it very violently. And I reached out and grabbed this handle, but I kind of grabbed it a little bit too late. And I did save the door because it could have went all the way around and completely bend the front fender, but I caught it just in time, but not in time enough to save the door guide. So this door is actually pretty loose when you open it, because the door guide is actually inside the door, and it's, like, you know, resting somewhere down there. But luckily I still saved it because the door itself and the front fender is not bent, because the wind would have opened the door all the way this way. And that's the first thing that we're gonna be fixing. Well, that's one of the things that needs to be fixed with this car. Next is gonna be my seat, because my seat is very dirty, just because, you know, because I sit on it quite a bit. It's not as bad over here, but it's also damaged right here. So this, we're probably gonna change this out some. We're probably gonna pick a different fabric, but still have the S on there somewhere. This is on there because this was getting dirty, so I kind of want to place this here so that my head doesn't dirty it. So this is definitely not a huge problem, but something that I need to definitely tend to. The second thing I want to talk about is the headliner. The headliner is clearly dirty. You know, it's let's just say that it's seen better days, and I think it's time to get rid of it. I'm definitely going to customize it. I have a couple of ideas of what I want in here, so that's gonna be done, and that's going to be changed for version 5 to include the A-pillar. I think that's the A-pillar, and the pillar in the back as well. All that is gonna go away. And of course there's some small things like this, like as you can see, this is coming off a little bit. I kind of want this to be placed back sealed. There's also the same issue right there as well. I do have lights that come on underneath, as you guys can see. Those will be completely replaced and get completely new ones. Yeah, that is something also I need to deal with. One other thing will be the window tint. As you can see, the tint is coming apart right here, and it's also starting to bubble in the back. Not sure if you can see it from here, but right over there it's starting to peel. So I think I'm gonna go reflective with the next one. So that should be awesome. So the next thing I'm gonna do differently, I'm not sure, but I think I'm probably gonna get rid of this rear bumper. Now, the shop that did the paint, they do have another rear lip for me, that the plan was to change this rear lip with the newer one, but I'm not sure. I think I just might replace the entire bumper, just because I've been looking online and I've seen some pretty cool looking bumpers that I think will look great on this car as a bumper update. So I think I'm going to probably change the entire bumper for version 5. I'm going to change the side of this. I'm probably gonna have somebody make an S like the Superman logo and replace this side with that, and the Superman logo will be made out of the USA flag. I think that would be cool, and that's gonna be on there for version 5, and I already know who's going to do it for me. For the rear wheel, I'm not sure if this will be the permanent height, though I think it's the wisest choice, because if I have things in the back, you know, going on a road trip, I think this height is actually perfect. It doesn't look that bad, but I'm not sure. I might have it drop maybe just a hair, but you know, we'll see. This wheel will need to get readjusted because it's a little bit tilted this way, just a hair. I kind of want it to be readjusted to be exactly like the one on the other side. It doesn't bother me a whole lot when I drive, but every once in a while I think I can feel the car is, like, you know, bothered by it, but we'll see. Now we're back inside. This is going away. This is a 2014 technology, and it's outdated. It's not working properly. That, along with my hands-free mic and what remains of the rear camera wire that's in the back somewhere, this thing is completely outdated, and I will show you guys when I turn the car on. Now, this goes without saying, we need to replace our front splitter. So I lost this while driving in the New Mexico / Texas corridor. Let's say I was going just a hair too fast and I lost it. So I am going to buy a new one and actually replace both of them. So that has to be done as well. As I explained before, the engine is dying. I'm not sure about the transmission, but I'm gonna go ahead and replace that as well. And I'm getting the 2JZ GE OEM. This engine, I can't complain that it's dying. The reason why is because of this. I have 391,418 miles. I cannot complain. I was hoping this engine would reach 400,000 miles, but it's not. I don't think it's gonna happen, because the last time that I drove this car, it started to actually, like, you know, struggle, because I think when my transmission gives the engine a gear, like a higher gear, the engine, since it's dying, it can't really. It takes a while for it to really work correctly with the gear. So what would happen is that it would hesitate, and then the transmission gets confused. It's like, do you want the gear or not? So and also with the engine dying, it takes a little while for it to start. Let's see if it'll even start. Yeah, so it kind of starts weird. It doesn't really crank up solidly. the way it should. So as you can see, this is old technology, because I think that the newer screens don't look nothing like that. It's more updated. Like the icons look more and more like apps, like, you know, app icons. They don't look like this. This is like the older format. So let's go ahead and pop this thing, pop my hood. So the engine is not gonna make it. It's not going to make it. So here it is. This is my 2JZ GE VVTi twin cam 24 valve engine. I can't complain about this thing. It's been reliable. I mean, from the United States to Europe and back, I can't complain. But it is dying, and it's gonna be time to replace it. It's gonna happen somewhere towards the end of the year, just because I have lots of road trips coming up, so I'm not gonna have time to deal with it. But it's gonna go away. Here is the reason why that I'm not going to upgrade this engine to the 2JZ G. Whew, it's hot. So why I'm choosing not to do that is because if you look on my Instagram, and by the way, if you're not following Zoom 360 on the go on Instagram, go ahead and do that. Zoom 360 on the go, because I post a lot of my trip stuff on there that I don't post on YouTube. So there are several reasons why I'm choosing not to do that, because I did say before, I'm gonna ride the engine to the ground, and when it breaks, when it's done, when it's dying, we're gonna upgrade it to the 2JZ GTE. There's a reason why. I've thought about this long and hard, and it just doesn't make any sense. The first reason is that this car has sentimental value to me. I actually like to baby it. I would never drift it or do burnouts with it, or do anything crazy with it. I drive this car normally, sometimes a little bit fast, maybe a little bit faster than I should, but I drive it normally. I don't abuse it, just because this is a dream car of mine. I always wanted it, and the circumstances of how I had it, I got it from my parents. I kind of want to have this car until the day that I die. So I kind of don't want to be reckless with it and crash it, or just doing stupid stuff. So I don't need this car to have a whole lot of horsepower. The 2JZG will serve it just well. That's the first reason. The second reason is that I use this car exclusively to travel with. Yeah, sometimes I drive it around town, but its main purpose is to take road trips with it. I don't want to have a 2JZ GTE twin turbo complex setup and I'm in rural South Dakota and it breaks. You know, it's gonna be an issue trying to get it fixed, because what I noticed about these builds is that the shops that does the build is usually the shop you want to go back to when the build breaks, right? Like if something breaks, because other shops, they are reluctant to work on somebody else's setup. Yes, it's still a twin turbo setup, but every shop don't do the job quite the same, and some jobs require some like custom work that certain shops do and some don't do. So it's gonna be harder to fix that car if it breaks in the middle of nowhere. And I'm not like fully knowledgeable on these things. I know a little thing about, I know some things about engines, but I don't know a lot where I can fix my own car, or at least know exactly what's wrong with it if it breaks somewhere. So that's another reason why. Because if I have the OEM setup, if it breaks somewhere, it's easier for me to get it fixed, because I could find like a dealer, or I could find a respectable shop that could fix it, because it's standard. It is a standard setup. that's easier to fix. But you know, when you have aftermarket this, aftermarket that, it's gonna be harder to get this car fixed should it break. I've been in all kinds of areas in the United States, and I'm going to go into even further rural places next year because I have plans for 2024, 2025. We are going in a lot of, like, we're taking a lot more road trips starting next year. So I kind of want this car to be OEM, where that it's easy to fix. A third reason, I think I'm on the third reason. A third reason why I'm not getting the GTE is because for me to do a proper GTE build, because I'm not gonna have a GTE engine with stock horsepower. It doesn't make any sense. If I'm gonna have a GTE, it's gonna be 500, 600, 700 horsepower. So it's gonna be a full setup, which means that I also have to update the brakes on the car. I will have to update the transmission. I will have to update probably the drive shaft. Probably have to update the differential. So it's a lot more cash that I have to put into this car that I kind of don't want to get, which I kind of don't want to put into this car, which will take me to the fourth reason why I don't want to put a 2JZ GTE in this car, is because of the cars that are coming. If I do a proper GTE build on this car, that means the next car is gonna be delayed. Now, I'm on the market for the car already. It's just that I have friends who sell these types of cars, and they say stay out of the market for at least through 2025, maybe late 2024, because the market is going through some kind of an adjustment, because between vehicles being repoed, people losing their jobs, and the interest rates rising, the prices are up and down. He also showed me, because he showed me what those cars are going for, and yes, some of those prices are ridiculous. Those cars are gonna sit because no one's gonna pay that much for these cars, because they're not worth the price that the people are asking, because a lot of dealerships have these, you know, floor plans, and they need to make the money to pay the floor plan. It's very complicated, but they're telling me the cars, that type of car you want, you need to wait. For me to do a proper GT build on this car, some of the money that I need to put up to do a proper GT build on this car is gonna have to come from the funds that I have to buy the next car. And I don't want to have to delay that car, because I think that car will bring a good content for the channel. So I kind of want to bring this car as soon as it's available, as soon as things have settled, to go out there and get this car and start to push content with that car for the channel. And then the last reason why I don't want to do a GT build on this car is because the car that will come after the next car, if everything goes well, is gonna come already as a full GTE 2JZ GTE build, and that's gonna be the car that I'm gonna go buck wild in. That's the car I'm gonna just do whatever that I want in. We're gonna do some burnouts, some, you know, drifting and stuff like that, because I'm really interested in that. And that's the car that I'll use for 2JZ GT content and stuff. But this car is not gonna be the one. And also, I guess another reason why is that, you know, this car is an automatic. Granted, I know that you could do a manual swap. I don't want to do that with this car. So yeah, so that is the reason why that we are not doing a GT build on this car. It's gonna stay as is. It's just that we'll have a new engine, a new transmission about the end of the year, and yeah. So man, she looks so good. She looks so freaking good, right? But yeah, so this is the reason why that we're not doing that. And I think this is it for a video. This is Zoom 360 inviting you to get up, get out and do it. Like, subscribe, and share. Hand them out!